everybody, it's Diana with Stamping with Di. Welcome to my YouTube channel and this week's Teach Me Tuesdays, episode 260. And we're going to have fun today. We are going to tackle the Paper Bouquet kit. And it is so fun. So I can't wait to get started. So this one might be a little bit longer because we're making, I'm not sure how many flowers. So, but it's super fun. Now I'm not gonna make every single flower and make the whole bouquet on the video. I'm gonna show you how to make each flower and then show you the finished bouquet, because that will be a little bit better. It will still take a little bit of time. You do want to have like glue gun and a little tool or whatever, but anyway, it's going to be fun. So if you are new to my channel, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back. My name is Diana, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I'm in Santan Valley, Arizona, so welcome. So during the video premiere, I am in the chat room, so head on over there. That's where I'll be with my friends. If you have a question, just put it in there and I'll be able to answer it. If you're watching the replay, then just leave a comment below. YouTube will let me know and then I can reach out. All right, so like I said, we've got a little bit of work ahead of us. So let's get started. So close your eyes for a second while I get my camera adjusted. Okay, so your instructions are pretty clear because you've got your pictures, right? So you have like, you know, you need 3 of these pieces and you're going to make 3 of them. Right, so this just kind of shows you, you know, what you need in your little, because it comes with the little florist wires. You've got your little beads as well. You've got yellow ones and blue ones. Even though this is black, these are like a blue bead. So I'm just going to stick those there. And I found it easier to curl them. Like you can curl them first, but I kind of found it easier to curl them after I made the flower. And I already like put out, like I already cut out, like these little guys pop out. So I already popped them out. But then you are left with these, and I didn't want to waste those. And I wanted the centers of my flower to be extra poofy. So what I did was I cut. So I'm just going to put that off to the side. So I cut these. So then I had extra little centers. And then we can just throw that away. All right. So let's, let's just start making a flower. So let's do this one here. And then let me find some more of my black. My extra pieces. And this is that crepe. It's like crepe paper or whatever. That's what it kind of reminds me of. All right. Now I also have whatever this is called. It's some kind of tool. I had it when I used to do jewelry, so it works. And I also have my glue gun off to the side. All right. So it's kind of messy. Oh my gosh, because I get all these little glue pieces everywhere, glue hairs. All right. So what I'm going to do is we've got these nice long floral wire things. So I just taking my whatever this tool is, and I'm just bending it, and then I'm bending it again. So I'm just kind of bending that wire around the tool. And then we are doing this flower. So then we just put that bead up there. Now this probably I could have made it a little smaller. See, it's got a little looseness there, but that's okay. And then I just kind of wind it around. And then I just kind of go like this. So if you have actually like a cutting, because I don't think these cut. I don't think they cut. I probably have a pair somewhere, but I know Jeff would in his shop. All right, so that gets your bead all ready to go. All right. So then what I like to do is I like to put just a little bit of hot glue inside here. And then it kind of makes my bead, and then just blow on it. It just kind of makes my bead be a little more stable so it's not wiggling around on my wire. All right, and then all we're going to do is we're going to just start to glue this to our bead. So let me get my little glue gun so I can bring it a little closer to me. It's like cordless, but you still got to bring it, you still have to put it on the heater thing. All right, so I'm just going to put a little hot glue, and then I'm just going to start to wind that. Now, when you use hot glue, you're supposed to have a little container with you, right, with ice water. So when you burn your fingers, which I will, you can immediately put your fingers in the ice water. But we're just going to hope that we don't have too much burning of the fingers today. All right, so I'm just going to keep doing that. So I go all the way. So I just kind of keep twisting this around like that. So the flowers are all kind of similar, like in the making of them. Like they all have these little centers. I love how they put that bead because it gives you something to wind on. But then you also have, you can kind of see the little bead at the end when you because you're going to fluff up these little centers. And then you can see that little bead in there, so it's really cute. It hides that floral wire. All right, so there's the first one. And then I'm going to take this one. So this is the one that I cut that was like extra. This is one too, so I'll just, but see, I already have like the glue hairs or whatever you call them. So they attach to my fingers and they pull everything. All right, so let's add a little bit of glue. I probably should go like that loop-de-loo thing, right? Because that probably takes the hair away. All right, so this one is just going to be, just make it a little fuller. And depending on how you cut them, it might be a little lower, so it gives you like extra poofiness. Okay, so we just keep winding. And then this is just something I did. This is not in the instructions to use that, but I hated to waste, because they were cut perfectly, right? The way it was trimmed on there. All right, so that looks good. Let me do a little bit more. And then I'll just trim, because I don't need to do the whole thing. And then just kind of squeeze it a little bit. All right, so let me just trim. Oh, I'll just glue it. Just glue it and be done with it. All right, so I'm just going to glue. Here we go. All right, so now we have our our little center, but see what I mean? You can see that little bead in there. And it looks so cute. Of course, it's not wanting to focus. But anyways, all right. So then we have 3 of these flowers. So I'm just going to turn this upside down. I'm going to put a little glue here. I say a little, but it's kind of a lot. All right. And then I'm just going to drop this down. Now remember, we have to get over that little, where I looped that. So if you can get it to stay close to the stem, it's easier to put your flowers on. All right. And then we'll do the same thing. So now we're gonna, so this is why I kept them flat, because I was able to just drop them on there. And then I can make them like not be even, you know. So when they're flat, to me, they were a little easier to work with to keep them not lined up. But when I had bent them first, they were just kind of like just a little too in my way. All right, so we'll do the same thing. I'm going to offset that a little bit. Okay. And then we have this little green thing. It's probably got an official name if you're a flower person. All right. And we'll just put our glue, and then we'll drop that down on there as well. And then just kind of hold that, you know, so it dries. All right, so here's your little flower. I'm just going to bend my stem because I can fix it later. So there's your first little flower. And then just take your bone folder and just kind of bend your leaves. So it's up to you. You might go, oh, I'm going to do them first. But I just found it was easy to get that bone folder in there, and I could do them after. And then I had a little bit more control if I wanted them to be curlier, like those little ones towards the center. You could also, you know, if you want, you could even make some of these bottom ones go like this direction, you know, which would make them look a little fuller. You could also bend these little guys. So to me, I just felt it a little easier to manipulate and play with my flower once it was made, you know. So anyway, so there's that one. And then just take your bone folder and just go in here and open up these little stamen, maybe it is. So just kind of open that up. And you can use your fingers too. Might be easier with my fingers. But you can fluff that up. And you can see that little bead in there. It looks so cute. Otherwise, you'd see that green thing. All right. So there's that one. And then you can just kind of, you know, work it around there. But there's the first one. Okay, and I'm just going to put them off to the side. All right, so let's do this one now. So we want a yellow bead. And let me make sure I'm doing my right, because I did this one earlier. This is, now when I was pulling out my pieces, here we go. So this one is 3, whatever. And then it's the smaller, because we do have bigger greens. See, we do have bigger stars. So it's a smaller one, and the yellow one. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to find my yellow stuff. Where do I put it? Oh, it's over here. Because you really want to have a lot of space. I gotta sneak. Excuse me. Gosh, Diana. That one came right from my toes. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to cut and cut so that I have extra little, you know, center. All right, so let's do the same thing. We've got our, I probably hit hit my camera. All right, so let's do the same thing. We're gonna fold that, and maybe I'll bring it up into here more. And maybe that will be a little smaller for the bead. So that's a little bit better size for the bead. But you still want to bring this and twist it. So if you have like actual floral nippers or whatever. Okay. And then we're going to do the same thing as we did before, but this one we're going to do yellow. And I thought it might be cute even to switch, you know, maybe put a yellow bead with the black, you know, just have fun with it. All right, so I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put a little hot glue in my bead here just to kind of, and then just blow, just to kind of keep my bead so it's not going all over the place. And then we'll start doing the same thing. So we're going to wrap. So we're going to wrap it around. It almost looks like a crown, doesn't it? Like we're making a crown. So I'm just going to keep wrapping like I did before. And then we'll do the second one as well. And then just, you know, kind of squeeze it. And then just like we did the other flower, we're going to loop these on. Oops, let me put my glue. And then put our little green thing on. So I'm a little not super careful with my glue. I have glue everywhere. All right, so put that on. And then just kind of, you know, hold it. All right, then bring your bone folder over. If you didn't already curl them. This one I curled a little bit at the beginning, and then I changed my mind. So it's really up to you. But I like just moving it around. And then the next layer. And then I like every once in a while bending one the other way. So they have a little extra movement going on. And then you can do the same thing with your little green thing on the back. Now it is just tissue, so just, you know, be careful with it. But they do fold really easily. So look how pretty that one is with the yellow. And then just, you know, either take your bone folder or your fingers and then just go in there and lay all these little guys down. But see what I mean by putting that extra little layer in there? It makes it extra, like you just have more in there. So there's that one. Do the orange one. Now the orange one, I don't know if the instructions were wrong or they just cut, you know, cut extra and didn't realize it. But I had extra oranges. So you could, you know, because it says 2 and you're going to do 3. So I just made my orange one a little thicker because I had extra. But you might want to count these things, because I didn't think about counting these, because maybe you'll have, you know, maybe you could just make more of them. But I just made my orange flowers be a little thicker. All right, and then it's got the long one, and I already cut, you know, the 2. And so let's see here. So I'm going to do the same thing as I did before. Bend, and then I'll bring it in here. So that's not as thick. This time we want the blue. And do the same kind of twisting. And then just try to keep it close to the stem. And then do the same thing. Put a little hot glue in there just to kind of keep that bead around the wire. Let it dry. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to put these on without folding them first. All right, so let's get our black little stamen things. So these are the long ones. But we do them just the same. You know, you're just going to wrap it and wrap it and wrap it and wrap it and wrap it some more. All right, so just squeeze, you know, try to get that in place. All right, now I'm going to do the same thing. We're just going to put these on our stem. And the stem keeps hitting the camera, so, because it's really, really long. All right, so let's put our glue and start putting our flowers on. So that first one, I just kind of push it so that it kind of glues to that centerpiece. Okay. And then let's start my flower. Add some glue. And then put it on. And then we want to glue it so that the flower petals are not even with the other ones. And then put a little more glue. So this is the one that I had that extra. So your kit might just have 2, and then you'll just do 2. Okay, so that's kind of offset a little bit. Or like I said, you could count your picks or whatever, those floral wires, and then maybe you would make extra orange. But you want to make sure you have enough beads and all that. So that's why I just was like, well, I'll just still make 3 flowers. It will just be a little poofier than it was supposed to be. So I'm just trying to offset them a little bit. Now this one has the big green thingy, whatever that is. Again, I'm just, just let that sit up a little bit before I start messing with it too much. Clean all my glue hairs. All right, then we can either, got my glue, we could do this first and then curl our flowers. I'm just moving them down with my fingers. So it looks so cool, right? Okay, you can see that little bead in there. And a little glue, or I got a little crazy with my glue. There's that. All right, and then we'll do the same thing. So we'll start bending our flowers. So I just like work my way around the circle. And you won't have a camera in your way, so you'll be able to do it closer to your body. And then I do the next layer and go around. But that just really brings your flowers to life when you curl them up. But like I said, just, it's delicate, so we just, kind of watch it. And then I'm going to turn, every once in a while, like I did before, I'm going to turn one the other way. So they've got a little more motion, and then I'm going to curl these little guys so you can see them. And we can still fiddle-fart around with it a little bit, but so there's that one. So that's so cute, right? Whatever kind of flower that is. Okay. Then we have, I'm trying to see how many I've done. Do I have 2 more? 2 more. All right, so now this is a pink. So this is the pink one. And we also have leaves. All right, so this is a pink. So you have 2, and we'll be doing 3 individual. And just for heck's sake, all right, so this wants the yellow. I'm going to just see what this looks like. So I'm going to go, so this is a long yellow. I'm going to add black with this one. And I'm going to do a blue bead. So we're just going to change the look of this flower and see if we like it. It's just a flower, right? All right, so I'm going to do the same thing. Bend. Put my bead on. Now, depending on how much you bend, it shortens your flower stem, right? So you might go, okay, I'm not going to fold this one as much, so they're a little longer. It depends on your vase, what you're going to put it in. If you're going to put it in a flower vase, if you're just going to tie a ribbon around it and have it like lay on the table, you know, it's totally up to you. All right, so I'm going to start with the yellow, but then I thought it might be fun to put some of the black around it as well. All right, so let's start. So I also, again, I changed my bead color. So the center of my flower is going to be dark instead of the yellow. And maybe it won't look good. Maybe it'll look awesome. We won't know till it's done. All right. Squeeze like I did before. Start putting our flowers on. Put a little glue on here. So this one just has 2. Put some glue just to keep them together. Offset them. So this one to me almost seems like maybe not a posy. All right, then we have our little green thing. And that goes on there. Pull all my glue hairs away. Okay, so let's see how this one looks since I strayed from how it's supposed to be. All right, so let's see. So that kind of looks cool, right? With the 2 and then the darker center. I think that looks really, really cool. All right, so let's just kind of bend our flower things around. I think I like that. Then you see the center of the flower. can see a little bit of the dark around the edge. All right, so let me get my bone folder, and then we can get our flower in shape. Oh my gosh, isn't that cool looking? So there's that one. And then we can do the same thing with this. We can just kind of give a little something something to those little guys on the bottom. But there's that one. So here's one I did earlier, and I did it the regular way. So you can kind of compare them. So what do you think? I think they're both pretty, but you can see, you know, it looks totally different with that color. All right, so my finger's all numb. All right, and it happens once in a while. So these two fingers, and it's moving over to this one, these two fingers are like numb, like there's no feeling. And when it happened before, my fingers turned. Once the feeling came back, my fingers had turned. See how my fingers, like, it's kind of like this because of my old age. And then when the feeling came back, my finger had turned. So that's probably what these are doing, right? They're doing whatever they're going to do. All right, so we also have, I think I did all the flower. Oh no, I have the yellow one. Hang on a minute. So let's do our yellow one, and then we'll do, oh, how many do I have? Did I do this one? Oh my gosh, I have more than I think. All right, so let's see here. It's kind of hard because those fingers are like, there's no feeling, which maybe it's a good thing if I'm gluing, if I do hot glue. All right, so let's keep going. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to speed up the camera, because basically these flowers are all the same. And then I will do the leaves. So I'm just going to speed up the camera and do these last two flowers. The bead on this one too, I put a yellow bead. That's pretty cool. All right, and then we'll just bend our petals up. Very cool. So there's that one. So that's all the flowers. But then we also have leaves. So we have some crepe leaves, and you're going to use like a stamen or whatever they're called. All right. So I'm just going to drag some glue down, and then I'm just going to lay my stem in the glue like that. So we'll let that dry a little bit. All right, and then we also have these leaves. So we're just going to pop them out, and then these guys they've been scored a little bit. Just popping these out, and these are got some heft to them. All right, and I'm going to glue this along here, so I'm going to glue it first and then bend it later. So I'm just kind of holding my fingers, and then I'm going to bend it to kind of go along with that score. And then I'll put my glue along that score. And then like that. And then I can always add more. But this way it's going to be really good and glued before I start messing with it. And then same with this one. Just get my stick. And then this one's pretty straight. I didn't really have to bend that one. And then just lay that in there. And I can always add more. Like I might add more glue later, like just go right over top. Okay, so I'm going to let these all dry. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish all my flowers, and then I'm going to come back. Now, I say come back because I will be coming back, but it will happen really quick on the video. But I'm going to finish my flowers, and I'm going to get it all done, and I'm going to put it in a vase and show you the finished project. Okay, so I have all my flowers made. We do have like some extra pieces, so we have some extra sticks, you have some extra beads. All right, so let me get to these little leaves here. So these leaves have some scores, so I'm just going to gently kind of score along that. Because they're leaves, right? So they don't have to be perfect. And then this is the one that I have that glued on the back. So let's see here. So I'm just gonna, kind of bend that. And then when it comes to this leaf, you can just bend it however you want. So I kind of like these leaves because you can really give them some motion, and then we'll ignore my glue back there. All right, and then we also have these here. So I'm just gonna do the same thing. I'm just gonna bend them and give them a little bit of motion along where they're scored. Just to give them a little something there. Okay. So I wanted to show you those leaves. Now, I don't have a vase, but I do have this really cute, it's a, what do you call it? A canister. and it says bunny nibbles, so it's really cute. So this is what I'm going to use for my vase. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put all my flowers in, get them arranged, and then I'll show you the finished project. Okay, so here is my finished vase, even though it's a canister. So what's nice is because they're on wires, you can kind of bend them and get them how you want. I need to fiddle fart with the leaves a little bit more, but I like how it turned out. I do want to find a vase, though. I think it would look better. Even though I love that little bunny nibbles the words. I'm going to leave it in here through Easter, because of the bunny nibbles. But I think what I'll do is I will look for a vase that has a smaller circle that it goes into, because I think since this is a canister, it's a little bit too wide, so it's allowing the flowers to kind of go like this a little bit more, and I want to kind of contain them more in the circle. But I think it's so cute, right? And you can see from the top, you can see all the flowers. So, and then a regular vase would also keep it from moving. And see how it wants to move because it's too big. But you can see where, I changed some of the flowers with the black and the yellow. So some of my beads are, a different color, and I love how those turned out, because I think those flowers look even cuter when they have, the different beads. So, but anyways, so it is super cute. So let me know what you think. It took a little bit of time to put together, but it's still fun, right? You just put music on or whatever. Because once you do one, then they're all just kind of repetitive. They're just a different looking flower. There's different colors and stuff. But I think it turned out so cute. So I'm going to go put it in the house. So I will see you Friday for my dye shorts. And like I said yesterday, I don't know if I'll be in the chat room because we'll be at the lake. And I don't know if I'll be able to get in contact, like if I'll be able to pull that up or not. If I can, I'll try. Otherwise, please still go over into the chat room and talk amongst yourselves. And I'll be doing the third kit for the month of April. I'll be showing you that on Friday, and that will be at 3 o'clock Arizona time, same channel. Have a great night, everyone, and I'll see you soon. All right, bye for now.